As a new member of the Family Video family, I'm excited to be a part of the company's expansion into the Nigerian market. However, an expansion like this does not come without its challenges. Today, I am here to discuss the hurdles and opportunities Family Video will face, as well as present a feasibility plan and explain how employees may be impacted by such a move. This blend of large and small-scale items will help put this transition into perspective and help give a better understanding of what the company can expect as it integrates into Nigeria. Arguably, one of the largest political issues present in Nigeria is Boko Haram. Nigeria's ongoing battle with insurgent groups and continued government corruption threaten the stability and political integrity of the country. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, since 2011, Boko Haram, one of the largest Islamist militant groups in Africa, has conducted terrorist attacks on religious and political groups, local police, and the military, as well as indiscriminately attacking civilians in busy markets and villages. Boko Haram can be translated to "Westernization is sacrilege." According to Amy McKenna, ideologically, Boko Haram is against Westernization, which it views as negatively impacting Islamic views. She states that the group blames Western influences for Nigeria's culture of corruption, which has contributed to a wide gap between the few rich and the many poor. A second political issue in Nigeria is the ongoing religious feud between Christians and Muslims. These two religious groups have very different attitudes about the state of their nation. Both of these groups are very powerful entities given their size. According to Jeff Diamond, 50% of Nigeria's population is Muslim, while 48.1% are Christian. With an almost even split between Muslims and Christians, it's no wonder that tensions are high, and the political stakes are even higher. According to Christine Tamir, only 16% of Christians in Nigeria are satisfied with the way democracy functions in their country, while a large majority, 83%, is satisfied. Meanwhile, 62% of Muslims are happy with the state of their democracy, and 38% are unsatisfied. The political themes of Boko Haram and the religious themes of Christianity and Islam are prevalent in the country's film industry. According to Global Affairs Canada, issues such as religion, ethnic, political, economic, and social are common topics of discussion, as well as subject matter for Nollywood films. The introduction of Family Video, a Western company, into this region of political and religious turmoil will undoubtedly be challenging. Getting over the political hurdles will only bring various legal hurdles into view. In Nigeria, there exists an entity called the National Film and Video Censors Board. This regulatory body was set up by Act No. 85 of 1993 to regulate the films and video industry in Nigeria. The board is empowered by law to classify all films and videos, whether imported or produced locally. Its mission is to contribute to the positive transformation of the Nigerian society through censorship of film and video works, while balancing the need to preserve freedom of expression within the law and limit social harm caused by films. It may be difficult for Family Video to get approval on the movies it intends on renting from its stores. Depending on the verdict of the National Film and Video Censors Board, some films may be deemed inappropriate or unsuitable for viewing in the country. This could ultimately affect what films Family Video can have in stock at the Nigerian locations. Piracy is another legal hurdle Family Video will have to surpass. The pirating of Nollywood films has hurt both the Nigerian film industry as well as video rental clubs. The piracy problem is so bad that Eric O reports that within hours of a film's release, pirates are selling bootleg copies for a fraction of retail. According to Rebecca Mudeau, the World Bank estimates that for every legitimate copy sold, 9 others are pirated. Since piracy is such a common occurrence, Family Video may struggle to rent movies since consumers can obtain them illegally from elsewhere. Nigeria is a country full of movie lovers. This can be attributed to the Nollywood film industry in the country. For this reason, Family Video is expected to face positive cultural reception in Nigeria. Entering a country with a culture that values and appreciates the film industry will be a key success area for Family Video. As long as the company can offer Nigerian consumers the Nollywood films that they know and love at the affordable prices the company is known for, Family Video will be an instant hit. While the company is likely to be accepted by most Nigerians, it may face backlash from Boko Haram. If any of the company's video rentals portray Western ideas, Family Video may unintentionally make itself a target to this extremist group. It would be feasible for Family Video to set up operations in Nigeria. Having previously broken down some of the major political, legal, and cultural challenges the company will face upon integration, one final and possibly insurmountable obstacle must be faced. The country faces major challenges when it comes to electricity, something that we in the United States take for granted. According to Internations, only 48% of all Nigerian households have access to electricity, and even then, often only for a few hours a day. This poses an issue for Family Video, since the equipment necessary for viewing a DVD rental, such as a television set and a DVD player, runs on electricity. No electricity ultimately translates to no movie watching and no movie rentals. While there are a few challenges and obstacles to be met, the opportunities in the Nigerian market are well worth the hardships Family Video will face. As the home of Nollywood, the world's second largest movie industry by volume, right behind India's Bollywood, Nigeria will make a perfect new home for the Family Video brand. What better way to access Nollywood films than directly from Nollywood itself? Whereas production costs and timelines for Hollywood films can equate to millions of dollars and take up to a year to film, the Nollywood movie scene is much different. According to Mudeau, the average cost to produce a movie in Nigeria is between $25,000 and $70,000. She adds that the films are produced within a month and are profitable within 2 to 3 weeks of release. Nollywood is able to produce about 50 movies per week, meaning that there will be consistent and new content available for viewers. According to Paul Flesher, most Nigerian films are distributed directly to DVD without ever being released into movie theaters. This is good news for video rental businesses since a movie theater, the direct competition, is being surpassed. Flesher also notes that most films made in Nigeria sell for about $3 and rent for 50 cents. This gives the company a good idea of where to set prices in the new market. The sheer size of Nigeria's population presents the company with another opportunity. Nigeria is home to the largest population of any African nation. According to 2018 estimates from the Central Intelligence Agency, there are 203,452,505 people living in Nigeria. Susan Iranzi states that in Nigeria, approximately 50% of the citizens are urban dwellers with access to the cinema or home viewing technology that allows them to watch both Western and Nigerian movies. This equates to almost 102 million Nigerians with access. For Family Video, this means a large potential market. To ensure that Family Video is successful in its expansion into Nigeria, I have put together a plan for success. There are 2 main components to this plan: legal acquisition of films and a solid marketing strategy. According to Mudo, over 1 million people are currently employed in the Nigerian film industry. She explains that if the industry were properly managed, 1 million more jobs could be created in the sector. However, the rampant piracy in Nigeria is threatening these jobs. In order to help preserve these jobs, as well as create new ones, Family Video can work with legitimate distributors to legally obtain videos. This will ensure that the movies the company purchases are not pirated versions. Mudo reports that the Nigerian government and other industry players, assisted by the World Bank, hope to fund anti-piracy measures such as the Source Identification Code, which will create a digital distribution platform for Nigerian films. The code will connect video clubs and retail outlets and ensure that only digitally secured content can be rented. This will benefit both the industry and Family Video, since pirated films will be harder to obtain, ultimately driving consumers to rent instead. Supporting this cause will help Family Video set itself apart and make a stand. By helping to end film piracy, the company will certainly score points with Nollywood employees, film production houses, and honest movie-loving consumers. The second part of the successful integration plan entails marketing the brand. As with any business entering a new market, let alone a new country, Family Video will need heavy marketing. This is because there are no pre-existing locations in the region and likely no brand recognition. My recommendation would be to utilize print marketing as well as advertise the brand via local newspapers, radio, and television stations. These particular mediums were selected for several important reasons. The first is that print media will not be affected by the frequent power outages in the country. Once the materials have been printed, they can be circulated and displayed without the use of electricity. According to BBC News, Nigeria has a lively press scene with more than 100 national local titles. For the times where the country has power, Family Video should run television and radio ads. BBC News also reports that there are hundreds of radio stations and terrestrial television networks, as well as cable and direct-to-home satellite offerings. Radio is said to be a key source of information, and state television is able to reach tens of millions of viewers. My recommendation would also entail the exclusion of social media marketing. Only 50% of Nigerians are connected to the internet, according to Inimizit Udoding. Of these internet users, 54% access the internet on a daily basis, while only 12% have active social media accounts. With such a small percentage of the population utilizing social media, I think that the company's time, money, and effort would be better spent advertising in the before-mentioned ways. Between print marketing, radio ads, and television ads, Family Video will gain a solid footing in the Nigerian market. Now that the large-scale items have been addressed, it is critical to consider the small-scale items. This means the people behind the company and what this expansion means for them. Nigeria has a unique culture that may take some getting used to for expatriate workers. As in any culture, employees will face differences in communication, both verbally and non-verbally. As noted by Global Affairs Canada, in official settings in particular, Nigerians love titles, and those that have them consider themselves privileged and want to be addressed as such. In these hierarchies, superiors and subordinates expect to be addressed as Mr., Miss, or Mrs., followed by their last name unless they have said otherwise, while close friends can be addressed by their first name. Another important component of communication is nonverbal communication. Facial expressions and tone of voice are important in Nigerian communication. According to Global Affairs Canada, a loud and sharp voice can be regarded as unwelcoming and hostile, while an indifferent facial expression can be read as obnoxious or plain ignorance. Officially, such as in government or business, Nigerians are expected to communicate in much the same way as in Western countries. Similar to the spatial distance adhered to during conversations in the United States, the standard distance for communication in Nigeria is an arm's length, according to Global Affairs Canada. In Nigeria, maintaining eye contact while speaking with another person is considered confrontational or rude, according to Global Affairs Canada. Instead of holding eye contact, the expatriates will need to focus their gaze toward the forehead or shoulder in order to avoid making people feel uncomfortable. Touching and making gestures when speaking is very common practice in Nigeria. For some expatriates, this may be unusual or uncomfortable depending on if they were raised in a low-context culture, such as the United States. However, they will need to prepare themselves for this experience upon arriving in Nigeria. After deciding to live and work in a foreign country, the possibility of culture shock always exists. For the family video employees who will soon be working in Nigeria, one specific social issue stands out. This issue is poverty. Muhammad Sani Abduli reported that about 90 million people, roughly half Nigeria's population, live in extreme poverty, according to estimates from the World Data Lab's Poverty Clock. Poverty in the country has driven some individuals to take extreme measures in order to make ends meet. Kubait Umana states that kidnapping, although both legally and morally wrong, is seen as a lucrative business to thousands of Nigerians, especially the unemployed. The issue of poverty directly relates to the challenges family video will face while expanding into Nigeria, as well as the safety and well-being of the company's employees. Extreme poverty will have a direct effect on the ability of Nigerian consumers to purchase DVD rentals. Paying for entertainment is certain to come up second compared to necessities like food, water, clothing, and shelter. The issue of poverty, more specifically its kidnapping byproduct, is also a real threat to potential employees for the company. Employees at the Nigerian family video locations are likely to feel uncomfortable or unsafe since the threat of being kidnapped is a real concern. If the employees are coming from a country where they are used to feeling safe in most areas, they may experience shock at the risk of kidnapping they face by living in Nigeria. It is clear that poverty and kidnapping are problems that have taken and can take a toll on the lives of people both living and working in the country. Kidnappings have occurred in the country for years, with the targets being predominantly rich Nigerians and expatriates. Location also used to play a role in determining who kidnap victims would be. According to Chris Stein, most kidnap victims were from the southern Niger Delta region, where they worked in the oil industry. However, the kidnappers are no longer confining themselves to the Niger Delta and have become less selective when it comes to their victims. Stein says that rich Nigerians and foreigners have now become riskier to kidnap since some take security precautions to avoid abduction. This leaves kidnappers with no choice but to be less discerning about their targets and to spread across the country. These two risk factors, status and location, used to uniquely pinpoint potential kidnap victims. Now that kidnappers are willing to kidnap just about anyone, no one can say for certain who is and is not safe. The issues of poverty and poverty-driven kidnapping are indeed troubling. According to an article by allafrica.com, there is absolutely no question that there is an urgency to create employment in Nigeria, and it has to be done collectively. It is a collective responsibility. By entering the country and offering opportunities for employment, Family video would be on the path to helping reduce the critical issues of poverty and kidnapping in Nigeria. Rectifying these issues would make Nigeria a much more comfortable, pleasant, and safe place to live and work for both native Nigerians as well as expatriates. Besides poverty and kidnapping, there are several other issues that may give expatriates culture shock. Limited electricity and poor water quality are among these issues. Even in Nigeria's most prestigious areas, like Lagos and Abuja, diesel generators are a common sight. These are used to generate electricity during power outages. An inadequate supply of safe water also troubles the country. According to Internations, across the country, only about 3 in 5 households, or 64%, have access to clean, fresh water. This figure only rises to 4 in 5, or 79%, even in the cities. The inability to obtain electricity and safe water on demand may come as a shocking surprise to expatriates from countries like the United States. At first, it may be challenging for them to understand that in Nigeria, the flip of a light switch or the turn of a tap may not always result in light or water. To ensure that the new family video employees are integrated into Nigerian culture as easily as possible, I have devised an employee integration plan. I call this plan Welcome to the Family. This program is based on the idea of family units, or buddy systems, that I call film families. 1 week prior to starting work, the employees will participate in an employee welcome week held in Nigeria. Welcome week is a time for the employees to become acquainted with their new surroundings and overcome any culture shock that they may be experiencing. The intent is to help the employees get settled and feel more comfortable in their new environment before adding work into the mix. During Welcome Week, the employees will be assigned to their film families. Groups of 4 employees will make up a film family, with each film family containing 1 group leader. The group leader is the equivalent of an employee trainer who shows the 3 new employees around. The group leader is also there to help support their film family and answer questions. After the conclusion of Welcome Week, the film families will begin training alongside their group leader inside the family video store for an additional 5 days. After their training is complete and the film families are disbanded, the new employees will be able to work on their own. However, the connections they built with their coworkers while in their film families will still remain. This will leave the employees feeling confident and ready to take on their work as the newest generation of the family video family. As family video considers its next move toward expansion, it is important to note that with great risk comes great reward. In a country where there seems to be no shortage of hardships, the company has also discovered a goldmine of opportunity. By clearing the hurdles, dodging the obstacles, and rising to the challenges presented by Nigeria, family video has a real opportunity to welcome a new people, culture, and country into its family.